Well, I need to welcome you back, and we're still with the big one, and we're looking at the issue of that very revelation coming from the federal government revealing that about 8 trillion naira will be saved annually on account of the removal of fuel subsidy and also floating of the naira. And many Nigerians are already applauding that amount being saved. But the big question still remains. Have the ordinary Nigerians felt the impact? And what has this money been channeled into? Well, anyway, we'll look at where that will go, but we need to go now and get a message from our sponsors. And we're talking about Benetta Gas, located right here in Ughelli, Warri, and environs. And when we come back, well, we'll keep the show going.
Oh, yeah, follow the road, onto better quality. If you talk gas matter, oh, yeah, follow Benetta. Gas with the better quality, Benetta gas. That's where they full rich man to Benetta gas. Home delivery, brother, na sharply. Benetta gas. For Benetta gas, no mango, mango. Benetta gas. Different type of gas cylinder. Benetta. I mean, I got gas where go last you well out. Benetta gas. For gas matter, Benetta now do. Benetta gas. Gas service in a them they run. Benetta gas. Benetta make you carry go.
For gas matter and home delivery, make you wire Benetta gas plant for 080-6745-7890 and 080-5904-7722. Benetta gas plant, the tequila of gas matters.
It's colorful, so colorful, wow. It's Oza Furniture and Interior Merchant, a leading name for luxurious furniture at ultra-modern super showroom. Well-stocked is now located near you for the sales and installation of long-lasting exotic and quality interior and exterior furniture for your living space, such as foreign Turkey royal chairs and sofas, glass, wooden and marble royal dining tables and chairs, conference tables and chairs, executive office tables, reception tables, orthopedic office chairs, etc. Oza Furniture and Interior Merchant has in stock royal king-size and queen-size beds, wardrobes, mirror consoles, wall frames and artworks for decoration, wine bars, big TV shelves and TV stands, gym equipment like motorized gym bicycles, gaming chairs, treadmills, outdoor swing chairs, etc. All at affordable prices. We deliver with our vehicles. To make your home that cozy paradise, locate our super showroom along DSC Expressway opposite Platinum Banquet Place, beside Ugboloposo Junction, Efru, Delta State. Or call 0806 394 3198 or 0703 368 7179. Tools of Furniture Interior Merchant for comfortable home interior furniture experience.
Well, we need to welcome you back, and we just needed this message from our sponsors. But we're back with a big story, and we're looking at the issue of how much has been saved or would be saved annually on account of those two policies introduced by this administration. As much as we're looking at what has been saved, but what was the cost on Nigerians in that saving? Is it, can we say it really measures up with that money being saved? And do we feel that even the money being saved is in safe hands? Well, I don't know. A question I'll be asking later. But still remember, we'll have Comrade F.L. right here with us in the studio. Before we went on the break, we talked about the issue of why it was right that the subsidy was needed, or removal of the first subsidy was needed to come. But what direction did it take, and what impact has it been on the ordinary Nigerians have been the major discourse in the first half of our discussion. But let's quickly go to the second half. And even looking, let's look at it. We seem to have dwelled so much on the issue of fuel subsidy removal. But that's one of the two policies and one of the two measures that have been reason for the saving of the 8 trillion naira. Let's look at the other, and that is floating of the naira. I could still remember on June 14, 2023, that was when that policy was introduced. And before that, we had the issue of the naira being speculated. We had racketeering, where many persons will sit in the comfort of their homes and go home as billionaires, or still remain at home as billionaires because of naira speculation and all of that. Now, the basic intent of it has been to deal with not just only that problem, but also the issue of inflation. But my question now is, since the removal or introduction of that very policy, has the reason of inflation been reduced or increased? Because that was the major intent for them for introducing that policy in the first place.
Yes, the reason for it actually was meant to be good for Nigerians, but I don't think the implementation has actually gone too well. Because before you can implement such policies, you need to know those who are the real brains that will be able to drive that policy. It's not enough to float a policy. It will be enough to float a policy and the right people to actually drive it home. You want to float the Naira. Do you have that actual cash backing for it? Did we have enough in the reserve to actually sustain that policy? It was a bigger problem. And you know, Nigeria for a very long time, we've been shouting, though my voice is very minute to be heard, it's just like a needle in the midst of the ocean. Do we have the capability to actually reduce Nigeria or remove Nigeria from dollarization to Naira? That's a big question. The government can do it if they want to do it. It's not enough for you to make the pronouncement. The pronouncement will only worsen the situation if there is if you don't put your feet on the ground to actually achieve what.
So there was no shock absorber.
No.
On account of that very policy.
There was no shock absorber. We just made the policy and we'll go home to sit down. Actually, if you look at Nigeria like what you've just said, we have so many billionaires who don't have any single source of income in the world. We have the highest number in the world. And we think we are doing well. We are laughing over it. By the time this thing goes out in the hands of those people, the economy will collapse gradually. Now let us look at one area which nobody is actually talking about. We have too much money in circulation than what the CBN thought we have. And those monies are coming from the illegal sources. And if you remove those illegal sources from the country today, the country is zero. I'm very sorry to say it. Look at those who are investing. Who are they? The government is not investing. Most of the private individuals, parastatals are not investing. But look at these boys who are into means. They are the ones building the few pure water business, hotels, this and that, around everywhere. What is the government going to say? And those boys, you want to drive them out of the system.
We'll not give credit to them.
No, that is why I said.
Yeah. It's still on an illegal means.
Illegal means. But that if you remove it, then everything is flattened.
But let's still remain with the floating of the Naira and look at inflation. Why has it worsened?
Why would it not work?
Because we're feeling that policy will help deal with the issue or rein in the issue of inflation.
Why will it not worsen? Like, do we produce mic? Do we export? What do we do in Nigeria? Ordinary toothpick we import. Ordinary razor blade we import. And you want inflation rate to come down. When too much money pursue too few goods, what happens in economies? It is inflation. If Adibi, when they made this policy, they now said, let me digress a bit. When the past administration came into office, the man said we are no longer going to import rice. We are going to be producing, and he gave 3 focal points where we'll be producing. I asked that question last week. Are those places still functioning? If the answer is yes, where is the market they are taking them to? If you don't want your inflation to go up, then do something about your local currency. You cannot neglect your local currency and you expect that inflation will not rise. It is not just possible. It's an economic and market forces. Nothing you can do about it. If the government actually want to reduce inflation, let us go into massive production and investment. Then on its own, without you being intervening, it will come down. But as it is, I don't see anything. If you like, you float the Naira 20 times in a year, it does not affect anything. As far as the implementation still remain the same thing.
Okay, now let's leave that impact. It's now obvious that the impact have not been felt. But many will point fingers at the issue of corruption. That's why we've also not felt the impact on the mining. You feel the policy implementation was not done in the right way. And let's look at it. We've had unprecedented and mind-blowing corruption cases since the removal of fuel subsidy was announced. And a ministry that was intended to deal with the issue of reassuring Nigerians, or even helping out Nigerians, and we're talking about the Humanitarian Affairs Ministry, has also been highly immersed in such corrupt allegation. President Tinubu has suspended not just only Beta Edu, but Halima, who was accounted for stealing almost 30 or allegedly taking away 30 billion naira
37.
in cash. 37 billion naira in cash. But which will even emphasize or reinstate the earlier fears being expressed by Nigerians that even if you remove the subsidy, that money will also be end up in private or public hands, and especially not give us the required gains. So let's look at it. Would it have made any sense and be right to remove or deal with one monster called the corruption of fuel subsidy, but now have another monster called corruption in government officials siphoning that money? So let's look at where corruption has been in account of this 8 trillion naira that have been saved?
It has just been an unfortunate incident that this thing happened to Better Edu, of which Nigerians have just coined better education. This thing happens everywhere, every day. So it's just a scapegoat, as I will put it. Do you know that in the ministry, once you make a budget and the year is coming to an end, if you have not spent, even if you spend only 10% of that budget, on the last day, they will buy biros, buy pencils, buy erasers, buy everything to cover the remaining part of the budget. Is that not corruption? Corruption has been there for too long. And the government of every nation is so powerful that they can deal with anything that all the government does not want to deal with, they have hand in it. I'm sorry to say it. They have hand in it. The corruption level in Nigeria today has become a constitutional matter. You trying to address it will also fall into that corruption. Look at the case of Bauer, the immediate past EFCC chairman. All the people he listed for prosecution were in offices while he himself was in the Gulag. Have you heard anything about those cases?
But also there were strong allegations of him also embezzling monies
so why
that were looted. He kind of relooted them.
Why do you now have to appoint the people they wanted to prosecute into positions? Why don't you wait for the outcome of the investigation before appointing?
But we'll not wait for the outcome of that investigation in looking at our issue. So we are
not going to wait indefinitely.
Yes.
Yeah. Mike, no comment yet.
Okay, please.
So actually, if we want to deal with any issue in this country, first of all, is to deal with that corruption issue. And the corruption in Nigeria today, I can bet you there is no single individual, very, very, very few, that will say it's not having that penchant issue up his sleeves. You are running a government. The people you are putting into position, they are the people that with questionable characters. And you are building this on a false foundation. False foundation in the sense that it starts from the electionary process. They will screen everybody. At the end of the day, the court will start removing them. And you will tell the people the next time that we are fully ready, we are on ground. You are on ground and your feet is not touching the earth. What type of ground are you? Now, the Better Edu situation is just one out of the lot. Others will continue coming in. If they have to prosecute again, like what I read, I don't know, social media at times they can write many things out of their context. That she will open her mouth and mention names. I think since that the case is losing momentum almost on a daily basis. Suspending her is not the case. If actually that woman is found guilty, she should not be suspended. Was she arrested? Is she under detention? Why do you have to detain other people with similar situations and somebody else will be in the house and you suspended that person? The humanitarian money that is supposed to be meant for people, if they have spent that money in developing assets, if the money is not kept in one place, like this 8 trillion naira we are talking about, if they were not kept in somebody's custody, do you think that it will have happened? As it comes, it is spent on issues. We will not go through all these
processes.
Yes. So if you say you want to save such amount of money, people must be moved to go and touch it. For your information, it is the money that means a leprosy that the man spends. If the money is not there, the leprosy man will not do anything about it. The commission that is in charge of these humanitarian issues, forget about that 25,000 naira they are sharing. Develop our assets. Then most of these things will
because that's naturally where my next question will go. Because we've stated the obvious. Those monies are now in more corrupt hands, that some of them, than they naturally should be. And that's the obvious fact you are stating here.
Yes.
But let's look at now what you feel, rather than keeping that money there to be looted, what these monies need to be used for. Because the reason I ask this, if you remember, the World Bank projected that poverty rate in the country will hit 52%, up from 46% that it was in 2023. So if we really want to have that impact, as just like Mr. Taiwo Oyedele said, that these monies are meant for ordinary Nigerians. These monies that are being saved annually will be channeled back into dealing with the problems, dealing with the suffering of ordinary Nigerians. My question still remains now. What should this money be used for to really feel that impact and reduce that projected number that the World Bank said will hit 52% this year?
Right. We all know the problems of this country. We know where they lie. We have some cardinal points, cardinal issues that Nigerians need to address for the economy to bounce back, which means for us to be safe wherever we are. Address security. Well, if you're able to, with the security level of Nigeria, if you reduce it by 70%.
So are you saying these monies should be used in buying ammunition and arms?
No. There is nothing you do today in Nigeria if that security problem is not resolved that will have effect. Nothing. No.
So let's save the money and deal with the security first?
We can deal with the security, yes. It doesn't matter how much we spend on the security because it has gotten to that level. Nobody is safe in the street of Nigeria. Nobody is safe unless, of course, somebody who just want to tell you lies. I've not confronted the head of state of the whole sitting president in Nigeria, the convoy. I've not confronted how many CDS have died now through insecurity. A lot of them. By the time you are able to bring the level of insecurity down, then every other thing you do, people will see the impact. Now, if you are able to achieve that, what is the next issue? We have epileptic roads everywhere that even a governor of a state was trapped at the middle of the road. He could not pass. You heard of it and you saw it on the
Edo State Governor, Godwin Obaseki. We'll call names on that.
Yes. By the time we have roads interconnecting communities from the rural to the urban, it would ease the flow of our food stuff.
Yeah.
And if your problem, food is removed from your problem, that is feeding removed from your problem, it is 50%, your problem is 50% resolved. Then look at that, the other sector, which is the power sector. Mm-hmm. Resolve the power sector. Close your eyes. Use that Bradley plan. I have 8 trillion naira in my kitty already. What can this 8 trillion naira do to people? I'm going to tackle power sector. You cannot finish the whole thing in a day or in a year. Pick these things section by section. If it is the West you want to deal with, deal with the West.
So do you feel the reason we've not really also seen the impact of this is that the government have just spread it around, and because of that they've become thin?
Yes, on frivolous things. Yeah. Why do they make that proverb that if you want to urinate at a particular point, don't spread the urine. It won't foam. But if you concentrate on one part, it will. People will see the impact of it.
Comrade Domo, let's not look for foam, but look at it the way it is.
Exactly. I'm just explaining what you just said.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
If this money is not spread anyhow, people will see the impact. Tell me how many people benefited the 25,000 naira from the government. What have they used it for? But if that money was put together and they have a meaningful project on ground, in fact, why can't we borrow leave from Lagos State? The last time I traveled to Lagos, from Ijebu-Ode to Lagos, you will be so much amazed the type of development that is coming up there. They go after projects. They don't go after distributing money to individuals. You see industries on the left, industries on the right, everywhere electrified. You'll be wondering, is this part of this country that we are still in? Why can't we also do that same thing? Do you think Lagos State budgeted about 2.27 trillion naira for this year? If they have spent that money by giving 25,000 to people, what is happening there will be there. This present president, the sitting president, when he was governor of Lagos State, we knew what he did. When he left and Fashola came in, we knew what Fashola did. He was not distributing money to individuals. He was focusing on projects. Though not every part of the something benefited. But the subsequent governments are also facing that those sides that were not touched. That is how governance should be, not distributing money.
No, but we're not fortunate to have him now as the president.
So why can't he translate?
That direction is now being channeled.
No, he's not channeling it through that direction. Because he was not distributing money to people when he was in Lagos State. He should also do that same thing that he was doing in Lagos State at the federal level. That was the reason why many people said, okay, now, Mr. President, we have a very good man on the throne. Let us see what happens. We have not started feeling that impact yet. Maybe the ocean is now bigger than the fish to swim. Otherwise, we shouldn't be going through what we are going through. We have so many things that are begging for attention. Look at your medical sector. We have Japa syndrome. All the doctors are leaving. Even the few ones that are left are leaving the government hospital to set up their own private clinics. You go to the government hospital, they will prescribe drugs for you. They will tell you where you go and buy those drugs. Look at our transportation sector. All these things are begging for attention. But instead of you to focus and direct the savings into those channels, you are giving people to go and feed. Tell me, if I spin, if you are still living with your parents and they are spoon feeding you, will you be man enough to stand on your own? The answer is no. If you give this 25, you are not giving the remaining people the same money. It comes to jealousy, out of jealousy, and the impact will parabind every one of them. That is.
So if the government was to come to you, Comrade Domo, I'm just a bit curious.
Yeah.
If the government was to come to you and tell you, okay, yeah, we've heard you. we've had what direction you feel we need to take.
Yes.
But tell us one critical sector we need to channel this year's money into. What
The
sector?
number one sector is power. If you have power, most of these problems is solved. Whether we like it or not, most of these problems is solved. Nigerians are creative. Nigerians are hardworking and we are futuristic.
Yeah.
But we are being dragged back because of source of power. And look at how many companies have left the shores of this country because of, let us even remove insecurity from it now, because of the source of power supply. How many people burn diesel 24 hours, 7 days a week? That they cannot remember the last time they had the government
Interference.
no government power, that is light.
Yeah, night.
In my own community where I come from Elu, you know that. For the past 2 years, going to 3 years now, we have been having uninterrupted power failure. Not power supply this time. Uninterrupted power failure. And then we have artisan workers there, hairdressers, tailors, and all these people. Now you go and borrow money to buy a pass my neighbor. No longer a pass my neighbor again. A pass my neighbor was 20-something thousand. But I'm very sure that it should be close to 100,000 now. You would borrow money to go and buy that type of a generator. You borrow money to go and buy fuel. You borrow money to, at the end of the day, council workers will come and pay something on your door to come and pay council bill. From where? You borrow money to pay your council bill and you borrow money to do everything. And the life that you are supposed to use is not there. If you use power supply from the government for a month, and they ask you to even pay 15,000 naira bill, don't you think you'll be happy to pay it? The inconveniences of you putting on and putting off your gen, carrying it in and out, coming out at night to come and put it off. By former President General came out in the night to put off his gen. He was kidnapped from there. Because they laid ambush as he just opened the door to go and switch it off, they build him up. All those things will be eliminated. If you give Nigeria the first year complete power, you will see what this country will turn into. All those money we waste every day by fuel and all these things, generator repairs and cool, will be eliminated and it forms a part of savings.
Yeah.
So first of all, address that issue. Let us be self-sustained. If you cannot do it alone, call for private investors. Let everybody come up with independent power projects. We have a 3 senatorial districts in every state. There is nothing wrong even having a 1 or 2 in each of these senatorial districts. Don't forget about that side. Then what again do we do? The health sector is in shambles.
Okay.
Revive the health sector because health is power. Health is energy. Health is wealth. Okay. Revive the health sector. Then look at it. Little by little, you are also diverting your attention to the road network. Because if you have good road networks, actually, it will also reduce insecurity. Most of these things are done at very bad spots. So fix them up. The link between Ologbo and Delta was there for years, and we knew what it cost. And how much does it cost to fix that place? You can channel money from one source to another for an emergency purpose, which we don't have. We don't have it. So address these issues gradually. You cannot address all of them because the problems are enormous.
Yes.
Take them one after
That's
the
why
other.
I said, if they were to come to you, what would you advise?
Number one, like as I stated, is the power sector. Complete the power sector and let people start flowing economically.
And we need to flow along with the discussion, but I'll plead with you for us to start.
You're always pleading.
And let's go on a break first. And when we come back, we'll make it even far more interactive than it has been when we open up the lines, all in the bid for us to share your views, comments, and mostly your contributions. Let's go on a break.